There we go. All right. There we are. Tonight on the I70 and Coach Clay Show.
All righty.
Thanks everyone out, or give a shout out to Radix for that shortened show that she had, but still well informed as always. How you doing tonight, I70?
Good, good.
All right. Oh, some people saying hello out there to me, Mr. Purple Tie. Who, me? How are you tonight, guys? Who out there? Patricia B, how are you? All right. Yeah. So, what's new in your world there? You get a new hat there, I70?
I got my trusty mega and flag hat combo going on tonight.
I think you must have one of the tip-toppest Patriot hat collection out there, I think.
I got a few.
I think you're it's the envy of some hat collectors out there, that's for sure. I used to wear a hat every day back in the day when I was in high school and I was playing ball and whatnot. And then I went through a phase where I wore it only backwards for a while, right? I was a basketball player. Anyway, but yeah, I had to, at one point, I started to think that's why I was getting the receding hairline and that I stopped wearing the hat. And then I don't know, finally was okay with what my hairdo at the time was, I guess. I don't know. My one sister says I don't have a forehead anymore. I have a 5 head, right? With the 5 fingers. Yeah. A lot of. Well, I have 4 sisters, so they like to pick on me.
You'll need special lighting.
That's right. All right, Phenomenon. How you doing out there? Tucka Joe. Good evening out there. All right, Bean of Light. How are you? Serena. How are you there? Hey. US, and we got some good wrenches out there as well. Always pulling it tight there, USMC Mom. Who else we got there with the blue wrenches tonight after that POTUS speech?
We got Bonnie's out there, James, Diana, Teresa, Linda, Cheryl. We got.
Did you catch the whole speech? I was caught kind of cooking and in and outside barbecuing at the same time, so I
was in transit from work to home during the first half, so I caught about half.
Well, live chat, bring us up to speed here. You know, if you want, we always have the phone lines open throughout the 2 hours of our show. So jump on in over the Discord there, and our volunteer pre-screener, Sosa321, will help us out and bring you on up to speed there. Check out your mic and whatnot, get your volume straightened out if she needs to help you in that way. And we will bring you on. Tell us what you thought was the best part of POTUS' speech tonight there. Tell us, did you see any, was there some Q plus moments there or things like that?
I don't know. I would like to know.
Mm-hmm.
There's SD Cali. When you get home, SD, come on in.
I am safe. This is Coach Clay. Take an eyeliner stick and color in some hair. All right.
Gotcha.
That's great. So yeah, all right, guys, jump on into Discord if you want to have a chit chat with us. Like I said, we always have the phone lines open. It's great to talk with y'all. So in the meantime, though, I guess let's bring us up to speed. I know President Trump has had a busy day of tweeting some good information out there.
Good. I haven't seen any of it. So,
all right then, brother. Let me take control of this one more time. If I can pull up the Trump tweets there. Share that screen. All right. Thank you very much for that belated birthday wish there, Q University alum. Thank you very much. It's always
That's
nice.
awesome.
It's a birthday week here at PSB World, right? All the many thanks I've been getting. All right, so 4:20 a.m. here, POTUS tweets out the failing New York Times, in parentheses here, it will pass away when I leave office in 6 years. And others of the fake news media keep writing phony stories about how I didn't use many banks because they didn't want to do business with me. Wrong, in all caps, he says. It is because I didn't need money. Very old. That's right. The stuff's getting boring now. They got a one-trick show. It's a series here. I think he had a bit of a thread of 4 or 5 parts, so we'll continue on here. Okay, very old-fashioned, but true, he said. When you don't need or want money, you don't need or want banks. Banks have always been available to me. They want to make money. Fake media only says this to disparage and always uses unnamed sources, in parentheses, because their sources don't even exist. ... The mainstream media has never been as corrupt and deranged as it is today. Fake news is actually the biggest story of all and is the true, in all caps, enemy of the people. That's why they refuse to cover the real Russia hoax. But the American people are wise to what is going on. Now that the new big story is that Trump made a lot of money and buys everything for cash, he doesn't need banks. But where did he get all of that cash? Could it be Russia? No. I built a great business and don't need banks. But if I did, they would be there. And Douche Bank was very good and highly professional to deal with. And if for any reason I didn't like them, I would have gone elsewhere. There was always plenty of money around and banks to choose from. They would be very happy to take my money. Fake news. Oh, wow. That was a good thread there, eh?
That's a good one. Hey, Captain Liberty has joined us for a little while in the room.
Great. Welcome to the show, Captain Liberty.
Hello, hello.
Thank you, 70. Thank you, Coach. Great to see you guys on, man.
Yes. Yeah, great to hear you as well, sir. And so what, did you get able to hear that last going over President Trump's tweet thread there? I thought that was just some fantastic trolling here of the mainstream media.
He is a master troll extraordinaire. I love his tweets.
Yeah, it's just humorous to me now, to see he's in so much control of what is going on in the narrative. In fact, he now has so much control of the narrative that a lot of these people and other organizations have all gone to Twitter themselves to put their platform onto Twitter as pretty much, the main thing that they're trying to really push forward. Because of the fact that he really controls the Twitter sphere.
Well, they're looking like Johnny-come-latelys, quite honestly.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
You had asked a little earlier that for those guests who come on to pipe up about what we thought the best part of the rally was tonight.
Yes, sir, I did.
Well, in this particular case, I thought that his focus on how the changes have specifically affected Pennsylvania really seemed to excite the crowd more than anything else that he had to say. Most of the rest of what he had to say was a repeat of what we usually hear in the rallies. Mm-hmm. But those things that were specific to that audience just seemed to electrify them.
Mm. Yeah, wasn't it just an awesome sight with the plane pulling up like that?
Pittsburgh was in bad shape, man, a couple years ago. So any improvement there, then people are going to notice it.
Well, that's where a majority of your steel factories are, is it not?
Not the majority, but there's a big one right there, and it's now revamping. And he did say that they're pumping I think like $1 billion into a site there right outside of Pittsburgh where there's a big mill. So it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years ago, the saying was that Obama had put the pits in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, what city did not go a downward spiral or into the downward spiral underneath Obama? I mean, the worst one is the city he came from, Chicago. I think they felt at the lost with their gun laws. I always tell it to people here in Canada, and they don't understand it to me when I bring up the gun rights down in the States. A lot of Canadians don't understand. The ones that are against guns don't understand. And I always bring it up to them. I say, in the places where there's more guns, there's less gun violence. And they're like, no. And I say, go look it up. Go look at the FBI statistics. They will show you that. And they still, right then, the conditional bias goes in as like, that must be impossible, right? But I mean, that is the facts, folks, right? More guns out there, the less chance. If a robber comes down the street right now on my street and there's 10 houses and he knows that 9 houses have guns, but 1 house doesn't, which house do you think he's going to rob? Right? That's just simple. It's logic. It's common sense. And
it's the same way with school shooting situations. You don't find that happening in rural communities. Well, for instance, like where Homesteader and I live, because they know that the teachers are probably packing anyway.
Right.
So you see this happening it's always in the safe zones where this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that categorically, these shooters always seem to be under some type of psychological treatment and have all been subjected to psychotropic drugs.
Yeah, the SSRIs.
Without fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, I've brought Hoosier Patriot into the room.
All right. How you doing tonight?
Hey guys, how we doing tonight?
Welcome to the show. And for the folks out there in live chat, Hoosier Patriot, his name is Guardian of Intelligence out there, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right.
How you doing, Captain Liberty? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hoosier, good evening.
Hey, brother. So, I'm working on a couple of stringers. One of them I think is a little better than the other, but I'll give you the good one first.
Sure.
I'm looking at a MASH. He's a 3rd District congressman who is a self-proclaimed conservative libertarian or libertarian conservative. He represents the 3rd District of Michigan, which is in the Grand Rapids area, Kentwood. It's actually a northeast suburb of Grand Rapids. Now, here's the thing. So he calls for the impeachment or supports the idea of impeachment of the president. The first thing about this that strikes me is we have someone who says they're a conservative libertarian who's promoting the idea of impeaching a president who's done nothing wrong. Most libertarians I know have a pretty good handle on the Constitution. So the idea is kind of ridiculous to begin with. But here's the thing. So we have this MASH character, and I did a little background investigation of him, and I find that he's a graduate of the University of Michigan Law School. And so after he, this is a little bit jumbled. I write it better than I can say it. So so what we have, let me see if I can start over so I can put this in a cohesive order.
Sure.
He's a graduate of the University of Michigan Law School. He pushes that notion of impeachment of our president. And for doing that, he receives accolade from Mitt Romney. Okay, Mitt Romney applauded Amash's statement. Then I noticed, and we already know, okay, from Q, that Mitt Romney sent 3 wire transfers to Ann Coulter. Just so happens Ann Coulter is also a University of Michigan Law School graduate. Okay? So I don't know if there's a connection there between Amash and Coulter, but it's interesting that they both graduated from U of M Law School. The other thing to add to this is that Mitt Romney's father, George Romney, is a former governor of Michigan.
Well, you know,
So-
the telling item right there should be the fact that the guy's a lawyer. That should say something on the front end.
Well, yeah. Maybe if we looked, hey, Captain Liberty, maybe if we looked up the word shyster, his picture would be there or something. I don't know.
Well,
But
if I may coin a word, he's not a libertarian, he's a prevaricatarian.
Yeah, he's prevaricatarian. Absolutely. He's definitely a liar of some sort. I mean, but anyway, I'm seeing this connection. And so I've got, I mean, we know Romney's a snake. We already know that. But I'm seeing what I think might be a loose connection, at least, between Amash, Coulter, and Romney. You know, I'm watching that. Now, this other thing I had, which isn't as good as that, and that one wasn't great, but this one's interesting, and Coach Clay, maybe you can speak to this a little bit. We had those billionaires in Canada that were murdered not long ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the couple.
Yeah, the couple.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think they were big pharma. Is that correct? Apotec?
I believe so. Yeah, I think Radix was going over some of that stuff, but I missed it. She dropped an article
Yeah.
on. Well, yeah, but yeah, go for it.
Now-
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so there's something that's kind of been, and right now at the moment it kind of eludes me. Maybe someone in the live stream will know, or maybe one of you guys will. But things have been happening in Puerto Rico that make me think that that it's becoming a replacement for Haiti as a child trafficking hub in the Caribbean. And I can't remember exactly what it was that first tipped me off, but then POTUS, remember POTUS, he tweeted, and he was kind of pointing at Puerto Rico and saying, look, we sent you all this money for the hurricane relief, and you're still complaining. We sent you more money than we did to, you know, a couple of our states combined that also went through it. Something like, what was it, 91 million?
Yeah, it wasn't a
91
ridiculous amount. The amount more than what they got than Katrina, and what was the other one? Your other.
Oh, right. Well,
Yeah, the number dwarfed those other hurricanes relief that Puerto Rico got, and I don't think the third storm was necessarily any worse.
well, so what? So I think the process would be the Congress would allocate that money. Is that correct?
Yes, and out there in live chat, Miss Sari says that Coach Clay, they were competition of Big Pharma. Their prices were less than half, and that's regarding that couple you were talking about, the Canadian couple.
Okay.
So they were the competition of Big Pharma. So that's perhaps where their link came into in terms of a need to be Arkansided.
Okay. That could be. Here's the other part of that. You know, we know what they like to do. We know the deep state likes to, they never let a good crisis go to waste, right? And so whenever there's any kind of, and we saw it in Haiti, whenever there's a crisis, are you guys still there?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Okay, I thought I may have just lost you. Okay, so whenever there's a crisis, they use the opportunity to create a slush fund. So the president is pointing at them and he's saying, look at all the money we sent you and you're still complaining. now I find out, I just saw this on Kip Simpson, and I think he's one of the best Canadian vloggers up there. Really, he really puts out some good stuff. But I noticed he showed an article where Apotec was involved in a shipment of 76 tons of pharmaceuticals to Puerto Rico. I don't know if any of this is connected or not. I'm really kind of this is kind of spur of the moment. But I'm throwing this out there because I think that we should be watching Puerto Rico. I think we got some shady stuff going on down there. I mean, some really bad stuff. We're seeing all this drugs being pumped in there. We've seen all this money. We know what the deep state likes to do. They like to turn a crisis into a slush fund. They've done it all over the world, and they've repeated it over and over and over. That's exactly what they did in Haiti.
They might have been using that crisis as a way of getting drugs in and into other countries, because when there's a crisis like that, there's a lot more shipping traffic for relief and supplies and all those other things. That traffic does not get inspected as rapidly. And those ships that are dead heading back to wherever they came from, you know, when they pull into port, they're going to go, oh, we're going to pick up another load of supplies to take to Haiti. So again, inspections get done very quickly and they're out of there again.
Yeah, well, anyway, guys, that was really all I had tonight. I think there's some connection between Amash, Coulter, and Romney. I don't know when people are going to wake up to Romney. You know, and we know why he got elected in Utah.
Yeah, he's no good. He's a bad egg, that's for sure.
If you're the right denomination, you get elected in Utah. It's pretty much that simple. But he's a snake, and we know he's a snake. And we've got to figure out a way to help at least neutralize him. I just feel like either this Amash is just like a wolf in sheep's clothes, or he's in a camp with Romney in some way. I don't know. But I just wanted to throw these ideas out there. I'm just kind of brainstorming. I'm seeing some things that seem to connect. And so I just thought I'd throw it out there, let everybody think, maybe, you know, dig on that a little more and think about it a little more and see what you guys come up with too. See if we can build on it at all. It may be a rabbit hole to have it. It may be a rabbit hole at the bottom, and we'll turn around and come right back out the same hole. I don't know. But just wanted to throw that stuff out there for you guys.
Thanks for calling in, and call back.
Yeah, great call there. That was Guardians of Intelligence. Definitely brought up some very interesting points. And, you know, in my opinion of what he was talking about, I mean, you know, folks, look at how many of the countries on the list here that the Q team and the Patriots have as part of the plan, you know, one by one, taking back control of. Remember, we could start with, was it the first one was North Korea? Was that the first one? Or no, sorry, Saudi Arabia was the first one. Then it was North Korea. There was Armenia, and we could just go on, right? So, in my opinion, here, these people need to be trying to find new places or their last types of places that they can hide out in the world. That's where I kind of think something might be going on down in Venezuela as well, in the same regard of, you know, one of the last kind of, you know, rat's nests of deep state characters. Obviously, we still have some in Iran, and I think we still know that we have some in Israel, unless people figured that part of the plan has been gone through yet as well. But anyway, that's just my opinion. What do you guys think, Captain Liberty?
Hey, I brought Deb 65 into the room. Another caller.
All right. Welcome to the show there, Deb 65. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good evening, Deb.
Good evening, Captain Liberty.
I was going to mention to Coach, I think he's spot on about what he was saying regarding the deep state characters, but our more immediate problem as Americans, especially with an election coming up, is those deep state characters of our own that we're having to deal with. And the same is true in Canada as well. So your problem is much like our problem. You know, it's we have to deal with the so-called problem at home because it tends to have a bit more immediacy. Romney, in particular, just in my humble little opinion, I think Romney is in the process of Bidening himself. In other words, his financial issues, I think, will be his undoing and turn even his opinions into Romney being something of a non-entity. What do you guys think?
I agree.
You have any thoughts on Romney, Deb?
Well, I think he's always been weak, even from the get-go. You know, even when, was it 2012 when he was running? But, I voted for him, but it was because I didn't want President Obama to be reelected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, for so long in my country as well, and it sounds like it's happened down in the States, that it's been a vote of voting of the lesser evil until POTUS came, or until President Trump came, obviously, right? Whereas here in Canada, again, we have a vote coming up at the end of this year, and it is starting to seem like, there's still obviously globalist factions within the Conservative Party, especially at the upper ranks. So I'm still in waiting mode to see the plan expand out here and for the rest of it to kind of happen, because I know once the plan goes forward down there in the States, it's going to change a lot of things up here no matter what. So yeah.
I have not heard our president make any comment yet on what's going on in Canadian politics. Are you aware of anything he might have said?
No, he's been quite quiet recently, in ever since that he's put through the trade deal and whatnot. But what he's done in exchange, or in the time being, is he's pretty much opened up all the business that he needed to get done to start. I think he got 14 different oil projects getting going to basically allow oil to flow from Canada down to the States, although our government is still landlocking our Canadian oil. So another thing that he's recently done that people up here in Canada are talking about is the fact that he all of a sudden just removed the tariffs off of the Canadian aluminum and steel. And, I think the president is using it in terms of what he's doing with the trade talks with China, because I think what was happening was we were buying steel from China too, which we could then, or, whoever was in charge could potentially make it look like it was Canadian steel and then sell that down to the States. Which would be, again, not what they wanted to happen, right? So anyways, up here they're talking about, well, here, because for the last few months, the Conservative Party, the opposition party, has been trying to talk down to Mr. Trudeau about how he basically took it from President Trump in terms of the U.S. Mexico-Canada deal, where basically the deal was done with Mexico. President Trump just as a hand gesture, I think, allowed Canada to be part of it, right? As more optics than anything. It's better for the world. So in the meantime, though, he did put on some tariffs there. And so that was what the opposition party was using against Trudeau, by basically saying, oh, you haven't done anything with this trade thing. You haven't been able to stop the tariffs and everything. And lo and behold, the president just removed them nonchalantly, didn't say a word about it. So now that's funny, because now they're using that as cannon fodder again against Trudeau, saying, well, here you still didn't do anything, and President Trump does it again. So that's kind of the newest today.
Is Canada also going to try to sell South Americans, and claim that they're Canadians?
Oh, I'm probably sure it's not necessarily the Canadians. What the problem is, and it's the biggest problem around the world, we could definitely get into this at some point, is that we are a country that is completely signed on to all of the United Nations mandates. Okay. So we've also recently signed on to that UN Migration Pact. And Mr. Trudeau, if he stays in power, he has basically set forth that he is going to bring over 1 million Somalians in within the next 3 years. 350,000 per year, basically, is what he wants to bring in. It's the statistical mathematical percentage would be impossible that some of them would not slide down through the states, considering there is actually no border there other than a fence along some of the area. A lot of our borders.
Do they know it's cold there? I mean, going from Somalia to Canada that's a shock.
I don't know. In terms, okay, we think about if this is a UN program, then I think that down there's probably, or wherever we're talking about, for example, I'm just hypothesizing, but could there not be UN officials down there that are saying, okay, folks, this is the program. You get to go here. We fly you up to Canada. You get to Canada. They give you this. They give you a house, your lodging for up to 3 years before you have to do anything. They give you a monthly allowance of $3,500. That's basically what they're getting right now. I'm sure they're also given all the clothing for the warm or the cold weather, etc., luggage. It's all in the deal. Right?
There's probably a sign there that says, tired of hot weather? Enter here. And they fill out the paperwork and they're off to Canada before they know it.
Well, and then they will try to come into the U.S. and claim that they are seeking political asylum because they're afraid of Trudeau.
Well, some of them might want to stay up here just given the fact of our socialistic type of nature and the things that they can get from here. For example, we still have the birth tourism, right? So as soon as a tourist from whatever country comes here, they have a baby here in Canada. As soon as it's born, they get given Canadian citizenship. And therefore, very easy to do that, right? Another one that they do also, we have a rule, and I can't remember what it's called, something to do with family, but basically within a certain amount of time that you yourself are here in the country, you then can bring in your family members, which they do. I even have this on my Twitter feed somewhere where this one guy he's at the Toronto airport. He's holding up a sign right here like this, and it says on the sign he's got his 158th relative arriving in Canada. Okay.
You're referring to chain migration.
Chain migration. Yes. Sorry. Thank you, sir, for that. Thank you, sir. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's crazy. Need to change the laws up there too.
Now, will that be to keep Canadians in or to keep other nationals out? Sorry about that, Coach.
No problem. Here it is. I wanted to bring it up to you guys because some people don't, and this is from, I'm just clicking over here to share the screen, folks. Hopefully you can see this as well, Deb and Captain Liberty. This is from Manny Ottawa, one of the, great political pundits here in Canada. Okay, he says, Canada, huge country, 10 million square kilometers. Okay, longest distance north to south, 4,634 kilometers. So it's about 2.2 kilometers to a mile. Sorry to not, I70, you got to do the conversion. You're always doing that conversion for me, man. So yeah, longest distance north to south, okay? 90%, this is what people don't understand really about Canada. 90% of Canada's population lives in most southerly 100-kilometer band, right? Just in that, and I'll bring this up for folks to see, just in that lower area there is where majority of the population lives. My point being is, the closer to the States it is, obviously, the warmer it is. So a lot of people's perception in the States is that it's very cold here, all the time and stuff. It's not really. We get the majority of the time, Canadians are living in weather very similar to what you guys have down in the States. Anyway, that was my point.
What do you think the solution is on a Canadian level? Do you think Canada needs its own Donald Trump?
Oh, guaranteed. As I said, they've always just been doing the party politics here, where it's vote the lesser of the two evils. Our problem, even if we did have a Donald Trump type person here, is all in all, he gets voted in. He still has to accept and do the oath to the Queen and her privy council, or whatever that's called, her privy council. So how can you not be comped at that point when you have to agree to not withhold or to withhold information, etc.?
Well, after a couple of years, you could go, oops, sorry, I had my fingers crossed.
Yeah, we definitely do have one of our politicians right now, a conservative politician, Maxime Bernier, is definitely a populist, nationalist type of politician, very similar to President Trump, comes from the financial sector, etc. And he definitely, if you're following him or seeing what he talks about and the way he talks about it, he definitely brings up very similar subjects that all of us have been going over the last year and a half to 2 years. The difficulty that he has right now is that we only have 7 or 8 months between now and our national vote. It doesn't really seem that he has enough time right now to build up enough votes to really make a difference. And even in terms of potentially, swinging the vote either liberal or conservative way, and how some people say, oh, that third party, you don't want that to affect the vote like that. But it'd be really good if he got in. But so far, it seems like he's got a very big uphill to climb, just based on the time limit that he has left here.
Well, in the end, people vote with their wallets. How much, in terms of a percentage of Canada's GDP, would you say is totally dependent upon the United States and trade with the U.S. and Canadians having jobs in the U.S.?
Yeah, hard to say. I've never really contemplated that.
Well, I would guess that there's a larger percentage of Canada's GDP that is U.S. dependent than there is of U.S. GDP that is Canadian dependent by a long shot.
By a long shot, yes. Yes.
So when people see what's going on here and they start seeing the effects of not playing the game on a level playing field, don't you think they're going to go, I'm going to vote with my wallet again?
Yes. I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Where was I going to try to pull that up there? Here it is. Just going to share the screen once more. We're on that discussion there, Captain Liberty. Where is it? Here we go. Can you guys see that on my screen?
Yes, sir.
So this is a slide of total value of exports in billions of US dollars. Right? So as you can see here, Canada up here, 421 billion. Right? We're very small in the realm of this thing, and we should be, based on the fact that we only really have 37 million or so population here in Canada.
Now, is that in total exports or exports to the U.S.?
This was one sec here. Total value of exports in billions of US dollars.
that is only 4 times what China is going to be paying us just in tariffs.
Yes. That's what, and if I can share, whoops, I guess I dropped the share screen there, sorry. Basically, that's what Manny Ottawa says here. U.S. economy 2 times the size of China. China exports 2 times USA. China exports 500 more USA exports to China. Who do you think will win this trade war? Right?
We can't lose.
You can't lose, right?
We can't lose against anybody out there.
Yeah.
Completely in the driver's
are
seat.
looking at checkmate before they even start the game.
Right. I mean, it's over. I mean, China can fight it for a little while, but it ain't going to work well.
Okay, guys, let me share my screen once more and show you guys something I thought was quite funny, if I may, if you guys don't mind a little humor interlude here. Is my share screen there going, I70?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, so this guy says, this guy basically says he's going to give these guys $100 if they can figure out this, how to dial a number within 4 minutes.
Okay, so go ahead and lift up the box. You have 4 minutes to dial that phone number.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. For people who aren't watching right now, these kids, teenagers pulled over a box that their dad showed them, and under it was one of those dial phones from
Rotary.
when I was a kid.
It's a rotary
phones. Yes. Okay. So they got 4 minutes there.
With that phone.
Wait, so you have to push it, right?
Kyle, move your butt over. I don't want your butt in the video.
Look,
There you go.
It's all the way from here.
Yeah. 7.
Oh no, zero's all the way over. How do I restart? Okay. Yeah. Alright.
7. Then just fiddle it a little bit. Or do you go all the way around back here?
To me, this is so funny because back in growing up, I mean, I loved using those phones growing up, man. They were fun to use.
Oh, that's crazy.
Please put the link to that up in chat.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
I'll move it on.
They think you dial it with the receiver down. You're not doing nothing.
All the way around.
No, they still have not. They're still trying to figure out. So now the dad says,
Okay, so I'll give you a hint. Your zero is correct. Every other way you're doing it is
dial
incorrect.
zero correctly.
So you don't stop at this. Oh, does the last one? Because look,
You just successfully dialed 0.
so if this was 0, then
This is kids nowadays. Folks.
there's a second one.
Watch out.
Millennials.
Is this correct? Bring it all the way around and then.
Even with
And then, like-
technology, they can't figure out technology, man. It's technology from the 70s. Come on.
Wait, so look, that's 0, so that's one ahead. What if you went just?
What would probably really put
It
them
was all
on?
worth it.
What do you think? What do you think taking away cursive is going to do to them?
The kids were good sports about it. They realized they were getting made fun of eventually, and
Good
but
stuff.
that was an example, I think, folks, of kids nowadays.
We'll call cursive secret code.
Very good.
Give me a second here, guys. I will
What do you got?
link for Twitter for the live chat.
That and you got a neat video for us or anything?
Yeah, sure. I got something. There's the link out there for live chat of that. Had some funny stuff, folks. I don't know what you thought.
Hey, Coach,
Yes.
a friend of mine took his granddaughter for a ride in a 63 Chevy that he had restored. Well, it was convertible, and they were out on a sunny day, and she looked over and said, "Granddaddy, where's the button I used to roll up the window?"
Oh man, I know, that's funny. Yeah, that was it. And I grew up with no air conditioning back in the day. Roll down windows.
That's like my daughter doesn't like black and white TV.
Oh, that video kills me. Sorry, I'm still laughing about it. Okay, well, I got a little short video here for you, and we play it here and see what you guys think. All right, this is what I've made here. It is a excerpt from Q Post 3038.
Go for it. I see it. Be right back.
Decide for yourself. Be free from outside opinion. Decide for yourself. Be objective in your conclusions. Decide for yourself. Be true in your own beliefs. Decide for yourself. Be open, following the fact. Decide for yourself. Be strong in defending your beliefs. Decide for yourself. Be resistant to blindly accepting factless states. Decide for yourself. Be free. Those who attack you, those who mock you, those who call you, those who control you, those who label you, do they represent you? When you are awake, you are able to clearly see. The choice is yours. Trust and put faith in yourself. You are not alone. You are not the minority. Here we go one, we go all. You.
All right, and we are back, folks. Hope that all worked for you. All right. And you still got me there, Captain Liberty?
I'm still hanging with you.
All right. Awesome. Well, guys, next thing I think we should go over here is well, actually, let's just see. I think let's check in here. I know SD Cali Conservative was going to stop in. Let me just see if he's still around. And if not, I'm going to do my thing here. Yeah. Let me just put that out in the chat.
That's nice.
What did you think of that, I70?
I liked it.
All right.
I dig
You guys
it.
like that little video? It's my first try kind of doing some voiceover, so gotta work out the kicks still. But anyways, that was from Q Post 3038. All right. Just throwing it out there because SD Cali Conservative said he might pop in, but if not, we should. I'm going to take the share screen over again, and we will jump over to this day in Q history of last year.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
We can look at some deep state tweets if you want to.
Okay, what would you like to do first?
Do the deep state in case he had any last year stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody in particular you want me to start off with there, sir? Let's go over to grab the share screen here once more, folks.
Just go around the horn, hit them all.
On the horn.
See who's talking.
Will this include the Hollywood crying towel section of the show?
Yeah, let's pop in some Hollywood people over here too, see if they're crying. Let's see, Mr. Comey has not said anything in a few days. All right, till he was doing some projection. Yes, the word treason. Smile while you can, Mr. Comey. Anybody in particular you had in your mind, Captain Liberty? In my mind, I'd like to
They're
see.
all equally funny.
Could have like Jimmy Fallon or Robert De Niro. That's a good one.
Jimmy Fallon. I thought I recently one of these guys, or was it Kimmel, was actually saying some positive things about Mr. Trump.
Well, De Niro just got booed for some anti-Trump remarks at some type of gathering.
Oh my
You
God.
know what that was, Coach?
No, I'm not sure. I haven't heard that.
That was on the, I think, the scroll that goes by on the PSB screen at the bottom.
Does he have? Doesn't look like he has.
Shifty Shift posted not long ago. Cricket in live chat is dropping a dime on that.
Sorry, what was the name?
Adam Shift.
Oh,
Ever hear of him?
Mm-hmm.
A couple times. Shifty Shift.
Titsuyami 511 out there says good stuff. I would remix the voice a little. Yes, I agree with you, but I figured, well, throw it out there today and get the kinks worked out next time. All right. So let's see here. 4 hours ago, did he say no? Oh, he just retweeted from the House Intelligence Committee. That's the committee he votes, or sorry, he is the chairman of?
I believe so.
What a joke.
Karen Kins in chat just says, Coach Clay, it was an award show. That was getting booed that I mentioned.
Oh, really? Wow. Let's someone find a link for that out there. That'd be great. Check that out. Thank you very much, Karen Kins out there. All right. Well, let's see. Did he say anything else here 4 hours ago? Breaking great news in the Marzar's case, with the court ruled in favor of the Congress order documents to be provided with no stay pending appeal. I'm not sure what that really had to do with. Oh, geez. Hey, Adam.
He's going to be really fun to watch on the tapes of his trial.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those people that the MSM media continues to ask to be on. So he just continues to be given a platform to be able to speak this garbage at this time.
I'm amazed at the fact that, you know, the old saying about when you're in a hole, stop digging.
Yeah.
Man, he's not only in a bunch of deep holes, he just keeps digging more and more on them.
That's what makes me think that something's just awry. That's really weird. Why not just shut up?
Yeah.
Trying to establish a pattern of mental illness.
Well, I think they are. They are trying to establish a pattern to basically continue to say that they're innocent or whatever, right? In less words than others. But so that when they do get taken down here, they can, say that, well, look here, I was on NBC and CBS and all these different channels. They all asked me, and I proved I was fine, blah, 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 right?
He was on NBC, CBS, and LSD.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Who else should we check out there? Like, Chad, any other deep state characters we should check into? I think the Clintons have been pretty quiet recently.
Ooh, just hit them ones on the who to follow. We'll see what Bill and hit all them goofballs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about Donna Brazil?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right there.
The Brazil nut. Oh, yes. I forgot about her.
There she is.
Recycled.
All right. Well, 25 minutes ago, she says, as a pundit, I welcome every opportunity to listen, learn, and occasionally share my own opinions. You don't have to fall in love with anyone, but be willing to share your views and respect their other opinions. Don't dislike the player, change the game by voting in 2020. Oh. To me, she's not that. She's not that threatening to me in terms of a deep state character. I think she's been in control or under control for a while now.
You might be surprised.
You think she's trying to buy herself some good favor, maybe?
Well, her name really hasn't come up much in terms of any of the real dirty, ugly stuff that people have been researching about in the last couple of years. So what really is she guilty of? Some types of election stuff? Would that be the case? Or
she could be straight up gangster. You know what I mean? We don't know, honestly. I mean, we're just assuming all these people are as good-hearted as we are, and they're not.
Well, I know she is the one that tweeted out that cryptic message about Pelosi being Madam?
Right, Madam Speaker today, tomorrow, Madam President.
Right, and the fact that she, now that she's head of Fox or whatever, she's over at Fox now too.
Right.
But she's been a little humbled also since the rest of the Democrats kind of threw her under the bus when she got busted for giving Hillary the debate questions ahead of time.
Humbled is not being on air no more.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Humble's not being on air no more, just going away. She didn't do that. She's back out here on the other channel. Kind of weird.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, all right. Hitting over here. Let's see this. Mike's saying over here. Whoa. No.
Big Mike up to.
A lot of people, there doesn't seem to be any chatter today from any of these deep state characters in terms of any projection towards the president. Let's see Mr. Scowlface.
Bolton.
Brandon.
Gotcha.
For something dirty. No, he hasn't said anything in 6 days.
Check out Flynn, Light B777 says.
Yes, sir. Right there.
Please.
Yes. General Flynn's banner. Yeah, we went over this last show there.
Oh, that's right. We did.
Yeah. Yeah, flags out. Right, that was one of those last kind of Q posts through that rally was the flags out. That's what you see here. All right, guys. Well, stop share screen there for a second. And I don't know, did we get an answer back there from SD Cali?
He's coming on around 7, so it should be any time around now. No big deal. Keep going. What do you want to do?
When do you guys expect to see the next Q posts? I know it doesn't help to try to make predictions because all of us are usually always wrong, but it's kind of fun to try.
Well, to answer that question,
I'm going to say Friday night.
How about I will answer your question because I know what you're feeling, or maybe perhaps some people out there are feeling over the last while here or without the Q post. So let me read out this one, and it is a bit of a long one, but that's okay.
That's okay. This is the psychic part of the show. Go, Clay.
It is Q post 2381. It came in October 9th, 2018. Right? Statement release 10/9/18 in brackets P authority 1. General statement. We understand that there is extreme fatigue and frustration regarding the wheels of justice. Slow. Exclude emotion and personal desire. Instead, use logic and critical thinking based on situational awareness. In brackets, undo a lifetime of evil and corruption, infestation in the span of less than 2 years with a corrupt DOJ and FBI in place. In brackets, process and planning, law and order, military op, How can you make arrests non-military prior to first fully cleaning out corrupt elements, in brackets, at the top of those departments, FBI, DOJ, etc., that oversee investigation and prosecution in the United States? They themselves are the very ones engaged in the illegal treasonous acts. James Comey, director, fired. Andrew McCabe, deputy director, fired. Jim Robicki, chief of staff of senior counselor, fired. James Baker, general counsel, fired. Bill Priestep, director of counterintelligence, Strozik's boss, power removed, cooperating witness. Peter Strozik, deputy assistant director of counterintelligence, fired. Lisa Page, fired. Mike Corkin, assistant director for the public affairs, fired. Josh Campbell, special assistant to Comey, fired. Dave Loffman, chief of the Justice Department's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, National Security HRC email investigation, fired/force. John Carlin, Assistant Attorney General, head of DOJ's National Security Division, fired. Sally Yates, Deputy Attorney General and Acting Attorney General, fired. I wish I had a President Trump. I should have got that a loop of President Trump from The Apprentice going, you're fired. You're fired. Mary McCord, Acting Assistant Attorney General, Acting Head of DOJ's National Security Division, fired. Bruce Orr, Associate Deputy Attorney General, demoted twice, cooperating witness, power removed, termination imminent. Rachel Brand, Associate Attorney General, number 3, official behind Deputy AG Rosenstein, fired. Batter's box. Now, these people have all come up now, right? Michael Steinbach, John Gallalone, Randy Coleman, Tricia Anderson, Kevin Kleinsmith, Trishina Galheller, Sally Moyer. We go look at what Representative Collins dropped. Those names are in there, some of them. How do you ensure those prosecuted non-military would receive an impartial judgment based on the rule of law? Think federal judge rulings, obstruction, POTUS granted constitutional authority. How do you ensure appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court are evaluated impartially, based on the rule of law? Think Justice K, 5-4. Military law versus criminal law. Enemy combatant. How do you navigate around installed blockade? Mueller designed to take in evidence needed to expose DS, deep state. DOJ block. Mueller evidence ongoing investigation. Mueller designed to limit POTUS ability to maneuver. Mueller designed to stall for time until midterm elections to terminate all House/Senate ongoing investigations. Mueller designed to safeguard the D-Party base. False narrative regarding Russia collusion. POTUS cheated evil skyfalling in effort to divide and mobilize for future protests, riots, threats, violence, false flags, etc. Mueller designed to provide fake news with ammunition to sway public opinion, obstruct foreign plus domestic agenda, fuel impeachment/removal, fuel anti-POTUS division, prevent unity, etc. Mueller designed to demonstrate to foreign players that old guard still pulls strings. Mueller designed to mobilize D-Party for midterm vote win. Mueller designed to push D-Party backers to donate GoFundMe D-Party. Mueller designed as public outcry excuse should criminal charges be brought against them. We are being politically attacked because Mueller, ... How do you remove installed blockade? D-class, D-class, D-class. How do you navigate around installed corrupt FBI DOJ? Use a stealth bomber. Who must authorize firing of FBI DOJ officials? Why did McCabe try to take Sessions out? What was the Sessions Senate conference or confirmation vote? 52-47. Number 75, logical thinking versus clickbait. Q. Right. So, I mean, that was one that I just popped to my mind earlier today, Captain Liberty, in terms of that kind of the stuff there right at the start there, in terms of where we really gotta understand that that's dismantling what the Patriots are doing right now is an amazing thing. And as they've said before, it's a one in a lifetime chance right? Never before has this been attempted. So I can't imagine. I'm just glad they've gotten as far they've gotten to the point we are right now. I mean, look at it that way too, right? Half glass full.
When you reread that post, it occurred to me that in retrospect, one of the most important lines in that post, when I first read it, I know I glossed over it. But now in looking back at it, it's where he says military justice versus, I think he said civil justice. Well, if you guys will recall, there were changes made to the UCMJ, Universal Code of Military Justice, that went down on, I think, became effective on January 1st. And the biggest changes, at least in my humble little opinion, that were made in the UCMJ had to do with the treatment of civilians who are involved in treasonous criminal activities, as opposed to just military personnel who are involved in similar activities.
Yeah.
In other words, civilians can now be treated the same way that military personnel only could be treated prior to those changes.
Yeah, they're now enemy combatants. Hey, I've brought Clarion into the room, and also SD Callie is also here. So just Clarion, if you want to say a couple words, and then we'll have SD jump in. He wanted 15, 20 minutes of our attention, and get your questions ready, and we'll fire them back at him, as always.
Yeah, hey guys, great show, and I caught SD and Company on their earlier today on their show. That was awesome what they were going over, so I look forward to listening.
Yeah, thanks, Clarion. Good to hear you, man. Hope you had a good weekend. And hey, Coach Clay, I70, and Captain Liberty. Good to see you guys. Coach Clay, were you done? I don't want to present unless you were done, man. I don't want to step on any toes here. Oh, you're muted, brother.
I was on the mute there. No, yeah, it was. We were just chit-chatting about that last post in terms of kind of what the overall thoughts of what's going on. So, no, not cutting in at all there, sir.
And happy belated birthday, man. I'm sorry I didn't see that.
No problem. No.
Hope you had a good one.
Yeah, it was always good. It's always good.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I just got a couple slides here today. Nothing super special, but figured we'd just do a quick run through here, and we'll make it interactive. And yeah, let me just drop these slides into the chat for everyone so they can follow along. And I'm excited to announce, too, I'm actually going to be having my own show on Tuesday evenings from 10 to 11 Pacific time. So I'm going to be filling in for Ninja News for a little bit, supporting MAGA a little bit, MAGA Swagga. So, yeah, super excited. So you can catch me on Patriot Soapbox for an hour every week, Tuesday evenings from 10 to 11 Pacific. So, yeah, that time slot works well for me. So really excited about that.
Cool, man.
Congratulations. You're in the big time now.
I know. Man. Now I just got to grow my hair out like 412,
That'll take you a few years.
It will.
Just hide behind that horse's mane for a couple more years. You'll be good to go.
I know, right?
The mane, not the tail.
All right, cool. So I dropped that in the Zoom chat. If you guys wouldn't mind maybe sharing that with YouTube chat so they can get...
Yep. Got that handled there for you.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I did a deep dive on Saturday because there were some things that were breaking. And if you guys didn't get a chance to catch that, I linked it for you here. But a couple things I went over on Saturday just to note, obviously acknowledging the Armed Forces Day. went over some headlines that were breaking on Saturday, and then POTUS flashback. So let me pull this up. This is really interesting. You guys will get a kick out of this. So obviously, when we hear POTUS speaking at rallies, the song that he plays is the song from You Can't Always Get What You Want, Rolling Stone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I found this gem on Twitter, and this hat tip to Red Wave Patriot. She's on Twitter here at _Shinin. And it says this is from JFK Jr. in his George magazine back in the late 90s. Read the last paragraph. What song does Trump play at the end of every rally? And we'll read through this here. So we hope you enjoy George's take on the future. Why not put it in a safe place somewhere and take it out in 20 years? ? To paraphrase a great Englishman, it may not get you what you want, but you just might find it will get you what you need. John Kennedy. How about that, guys?
Oh, eh? Yeah, that's funny.
What a little quinky dink there, huh? So I thought that was pretty interesting there. And then I did a quick update on the California wildfires. So yeah, let me jump into that real quick because there's some breaking updates here. It was posted on May 16th, 2019, coming out of AP News. So I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs. It's real quick here. Coming out of Sacramento, California, as California fire investigators officially concluded that the deadliest U.S. wildfire in a century was caused by Pacific Gas and Electric Corp, or PG&E, power lines. Lawmakers expressed deep skepticism about whether the utility had made the dramatic changes needed to prevent another deadly blaze. The company's new chief executive, Bill Johnson, made his first appearance before lawmakers Wednesday, who peppered him with questions on his plan to lead the troubled utility. We shouldn't have to be reliving this, said Democratic Assemblywoman Elise Reyes. We need to know what the lessons learned are. State fire officials said transmission lines owned and operated by the San Francisco-based utility started the November 8th fire that wiped out nearly 15,000 homes in the town of Paradise. Many of those killed were elderly or disabled. The oldest was 99. Investigators determined there were violations of law. CAL FIRE Deputy Director Mike Moeller said relating to Wednesday's report, but he said he hadn't read the report and didn't know the nature of the violations. Here's where it gets good. CAL FIRE did not release its full investigative report, saying it had been forwarded to the Butte County District Attorney's Office, which is considering criminal charges against the utility. Let me repeat that. Criminal charges against the utility. You're darn right. Those people are better be held criminally charged. And yeah, I mean, that was just a disastrous event. I'm sure you guys, recall it. We talked about it many times on the show here. And so, yeah, I mean, hopefully we can start to see some freaking accountability in this state because I'm getting quite sick of it.
Well, I have some experience in your subject matter there. I fought forest fires for over 10 summers up here in Canada for the national park system. And that fire in itself, there was not one piece of normal fire behavior, what was going on there. To me, that's you want to talk about, as we did last show about 9/11 and controlled demolitions on Building 7. Well, come on, that fire looked like it was completely controlled in terms of where it was gone, what was burning, where it was burning, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, no coincidences, folks.
It was weird.
The fact that it burnt basically in the exact, area, geographical area that they want to put that high-speed rail line in, that speaks volumes.
Yep. Yeah, good point.
Are they trying to tell us that PG&E was not being careful with their directed energy weapons?
Well, the thing with forest fires too. Oh, sorry to interrupt you there, Captain Liberty. I was just thinking this in the point I was going to make there.
Question. I was through.
What a lot of people don't understand about forest fires is, for the majority of the time, a fire burns in the ground, not torching the tops of trees and things like that. It's usually very slow moving, and that's why it's so hard to put out, is because the fire gets into the dirt, which is obviously has some density to it, and then it's filled with the rocks and other things that heat up. And then obviously there's all the tree roots and stuff like that, which it travels into different areas along those tree roots and along the ground. But as we saw there, in terms of what SD is now going over in that fire, that was the whole thing basically was a torching at the top of the trees type of fire, which is I don't know, remarkable. I want to say unbelievable, but it really, it was there. So it was, as a former firefighter, yeah, it makes no sense to me of what went on there.
Yeah, that's
You're
good personal
something very
insight there.
important, Coach. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Coach, you're forgetting something very important. The heavy chemtrailing that was going on there was very, very high in concentrations of microparticle aluminum.
Right.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but small particulate aluminum is extremely flammable to the point of being, close to explosive. As a matter of fact, it's one of the principal constituents in flash powder.
Right.
So it's understandable that you would get that flashing across the top of the trees, because the tops of the trees had been just saturated with that stuff.
Yes, and the same chemicals that you're talking about as well, when they land on the trees or on the leaves, etc., it basically has a drying component to it, where it basically sucks the moisture out of the plant or the vegetation. So that in itself makes the forest dry, extra dry, and then the factors that you're talking about go on top of that, where it's basically making a very electrical type of heated source for fire to burn with.
Yeah, and they're stepping up their chemtrailing here in at least Southern California, where I am in San Diego County, I'll tell you that much. And quite a few other pictures I've been seeing from other patriots across the state here. Also, I will add that there is some personal testimony from some people's homes that I was listening to, and even Breaking Spectre and 412 did a good deep dive on the fire itself. But I want to point out that there's been reports from personal testimony that they're saying that their smart meters of their houses were actually like fried from the inside. Like if you turn up the charge on a power meter, like the smart meter, right, you can actually burn out the house from the inside out. I mean, that's what some of these people were reporting. I mean, this is personal testimony. So it was a combination of the three main things, I believe. DEW, you got the smart meters, and then you got the other power lines. Yep.
Yeah, the trifecta of effects happening there. I think one thing we definitely need to start doing, and it definitely is a subject that eventually is going to get looked at deeper and handled, and I do have some other thoughts about it if anyone does want to follow up with me at any one point, because I'm kind of starting a discussion group about it off of the show per se. Now I'm starting to lose my train of thought about it. Is that we need to stop using the slang term. Okay, if we ask over 200 geoengineers right now, do they agree that chemtrailing is happening? None of them will agree with you. But if you ask them that is stratospheric aerosol injection happening, then they'd have to have a discussion with you. So that's one thing I think we need to stop using the chemtrail word. And anytime you are going to talk about it, Patriots, use that. And I use it because it's a red pilling thing. When you start using a technical term like that, stratospheric aerosol injection or stratospheric aerosol spraying, then they have to start thinking about it. Well, what does he mean by that? And then I can start going into it like Captain Liberty has and his knowledge in terms of the chemical aspects of and the toxin aspects of aluminum and the bariums, etc. And then it really starts to open their eyes a bit about it. So anyways.
Good point. Yeah, really good point.
Excuse me, Coach. A lot of them call it SAI just for short in case one gets in a conversation with them.
Yes, good to know. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Awesome stuff, guys. All right, perfect. So that's the update on the California wildfires. And then also we had a new executive order released over the on Friday. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is definitely worth noting. Some people might have already heard about this, but let's take a look at this EO here. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up.
By the way, very quickly, back about a month ago or a little more, Thumper and Dead Cat on their show did a really good, call it an expose. They read an article regarding the aircraft that are used for the SAI, or stratospheric aerosol injection, and it seems that they are owned by a company that is called, believe it or not, Evergreen Air.
Yes, I've seen that before as well. I think that's just,
and it's a CIA asset.
Yeah. I think when we look at this deeper and we follow the money back, because that's basically what we need to do in any of these types of things, right? Is that I think we will follow the money back, and what we will find is the United Nations again, folks. That's who's running this program. That's why it is happening everywhere. That's why it's happening across borders. Who has access to the airstreams across borders other than UN planes? And not only that, they can take off and land at military bases as well, which stays out of the commercial, international airports like I have in my city, because you definitely don't see any spray planes taking off and landing there. They're landing in areas where they're not seen by the public, and that's what, and they're getting loaded by the chemicals in those places, not seen by the public.
Evergreen has their own flight facilities that are not located at major airports, but they do use the military assets in case they need to stop and pick up fuel at a taxpayer's expense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
All right, perfect. So let's just touch base real quick on these. So 2019, so far, POTUS has published 17 executive orders. So interesting. And then you have the latest that was signed on May 15th, 2019, but it was published on May 17th, 2019. So again, that 17 popping up is pretty interesting. I'm not going to read the entire EO. I linked it for you guys so you can read it, but I just want to read like a couple lines here just so you can get a feel for what the tone of it is. So it says Executive Order 13873 of May 15, 2019, securing the information and communications technology and services supply chain by the authority vested in me as President of the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the National Emergency Agencies Act, and Section 301 of Title III, United States Code. I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, find that foreign adversaries are increasingly creating and exploiting vulnerabilities in information and communications technology and services, which store and communicate vast amounts of sensitive information, facilitate the digital economy, and support critical infrastructure and vital emergency services in order to commit malicious cyber-enabled actions, including economic and industrial espionage against the United States and its people. So that just first paragraph there gives you a good sense about what this thing is. I mean, this is a big boom here, guys. This is huge. And not to mention the fact that it's, was dropped on May 17th on a Friday. And if we look back at all the Q posts, a lot of big stuff comes out, big news stuff drops on Fridays usually, because I think that they can't get control of the narrative as much as they would on like a Monday or Tuesday, which is typically a busy a news day, right? So they drop it strategically on a Friday. You get less noise coming from the media. You'll still get a lot, but you get less than you would on like a Monday or Tuesday. So definitely make sure you have a look at that. It's not very long. It's only 4 pages long, but this is big, guys. So anything you guys want to add to this?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Definitely need to read over that.
All right, cool.
You have a link for that you can drop?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, throw it in the Zoom chat if you like. I'll put it in the live chat for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Either way.
Yeah, here we go. Perfect.
And by the way, just as a little afterthought, if any of you out there have not yet hit the thumbs up button, do it again and make sure that you give the thumbs up for 70 and Clay, because they work very hard bringing this show to you. So
and make sure you follow. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Captain Liberty.
Yeah, make sure you follow them on Twitter too. I know I70 has been blocked on there, but make sure you follow Coach Clay.
I70 has been banned so many times on there. Jack basically bans his phone number now. He won't even let him make a new account because he's got to get a new phone number.
And here's a little tip for those people who don't want to give their real phone number when you're creating a Twitter account. Just set up a Google Voice account, okay? Google Voice. Go to Gmail, set up a Gmail account, set up a new email address. If you want to use Gmail, you can set up a free Google Voice account, and then I basically use that, and I try to get around all that, giving my actual real number out there. So
I always thought those kinds of numbers wouldn't work for them because it doesn't register as the same type of line, but you could totally be right. That would be good if it does. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
Well, 70, you can also get online and buy a really good number spoofer. I understand the Israelis make some great ones.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, this week we're waiting on some big things to happen. I didn't hear if there was any criminal referrals yet coming out for Comey. I know we're still waiting on that, which should be this week. Also, we got the D class coming, and also we have the IG report coming. So make sure we keep an eye out for that. We did have some Q posts that tied into the 1 year Delta that I'll just briefly mention. You got 1423. Can you guys see my screen all right?
Yes, I can, sir.
Okay, cool. All right. So we got 1423 coming out, again, May 20th, 2018. So the 1 year Delta, which actually gives you a view of the London Eye. I've actually been there. It's a pretty cool facility. And then this is where Q was dropping images of the NSA cameras coming from the UK there in London. In London. So just basically there's quite a few drops of images of like Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and he's actually naming them out on the Q posts. So I hate to be in their shoes right now.
Yeah.
Those were the photos of their meetup.
Wasn't that meetup in 2015 originally that these pictures were from?
That could be accurate.
Prior to the election and all that. All this was going down prior to it. That's what's one of the such interesting thing about some of the pictures that Q drops over time. There is that when did they pull this picture from?
Weren't there?
Did they have it, or did they go back in time?
Sorry. Occasionally, forgive me if I step on you from time to time. I don't mean to. Occasionally, the front end of what you're saying is cut off, and I think you've just stopped talking. So if I do accidentally step on you, please forgive me.
No problem, sir.
That's your last warning, Captain Liberty.
Do you know how many last warnings I've gotten?
Oh, man.
No, seriously. Weren't there several photos that seemed to cover a period of a year or two by the changes that were made in such things as signage and lighting? Now, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I seem to recall there being a time period based on those things and based on the way people were dressed.
Yeah, like it was a colder winter season, perhaps.
Well, the implication was that there was more than one meeting.
That would make sense. Yep, I totally agree with that. Yeah, multiple meetings in the UK for sure, and then obviously it's coming out now that even obviously Brennan was there, and then you potentially have the current CIA director Gina Haspel that looks like she's beginning to seem like she's a white hat. Hence, she was wearing a dress at the whatever speech that was. What was the speech POTUS was doing, and she was wearing the white hat shirts?
Oh, yes. That was the address to Congress?
Yeah,
Oh.
The State of the Union. Thank you. State of the Union. She was wearing the dress with all the white hats. So that was pretty interesting.
You know what we haven't looked for? It just occurred to me. Do you know what nobody has seemed to mention that we haven't looked for in these photos?
What's that?
Probably because it wouldn't be something that we would recognize. We haven't looked for any of the British assets that might have been in on that meeting. Because, we're not used to seeing those people on TV all the time. We don't know what they look like. So who else, maybe from Britain or Australia or some other country, might have also been in those photos?
Yeah, you're totally right.
I think Daddy Dragon dropped an article today about trying to remember the guy's name, but someone had recently resigned from like top intelligence in MI6 or something like that, I believe.
Yes, he was
YouTube chat. What was that?
Well, there were actually two. There was the guy who was head when he resigned 3 days after Donald Trump was
right, the GCHQ guy.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you. I could, but the four letters that escaped me. And then most recently was the dude who was head of MI6.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Tetsuyama 511 and Guardians of Intelligence both say Robert Hannigan.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah.
Very much. Thank you.
All right, cool.
The chat is all over this. Chat, you guys are fantastic.
You can get a PhD in politics by just following in some YouTube chat logs for a couple shows. I'm telling you right now.
Master in chat science.
You name it, man. You got Chris with all her holistic health and ketones and all that, man. You get it all, guys. We're very blessed to have a solid team here, so it's amazing.
What a fantastic asset this channel has in live chat, because there's a team of, like thousands of people out there effectively who, if any of us happens to forget a name or a date, chat is all over it in a matter of seconds. It's fantastic.
Amen to that. All right, let's get through these last couple 1 year Delta posts here. So we got 1424, again, May 20th, 2018. POTUS tweets out, I hereby demand and will do so officially tomorrow that the Department of Justice look into whether or not the FBI/DOJ infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes. And if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration, and that's actually a pain.jpg image there, and you get follow the pen, think timing, coincidence. The attacks will only get worse. They are losing all control. Q. And so that was a 1 year delta. And then there's a next one that was too big to put in here. I just dropped it in. That was the next Q post. It says, given we have now undeniably on purpose verified ourselves to be an inside source, expect the mainstream media clown army to attack in full cooperation with foreign and domestic assets. Be prepared. Trust the plan. Conspiracy no more. We are in full control. Pain. Q. And we really see that happening, real time with the last, since last week and now this week. So, and we're probably only reporting on maybe 5-10%. But there's obviously a lot more going on behind the scenes that we don't even know about, right?
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. And I wanted to draw you guys' attention real quick to an interesting thing I saw on QMAP. So if you go to the analytics part of QMAP, qmap.pub, you go down to the bottom here, analytics.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the QAnon posts and POTUS tweets, so there is a couple times where it was like exact in the last previous months here, but then look at, since it was like boom week, you got no Q posts, but POTUS tweets just went off the chart here.
So just for people who aren't watching there, the QAnon posts in the graph are in blue and the POTUS tweets are in green here. And as we see, as SD's explaining here, it's right there at the exact time, right? The drop off, the increase. Wow. Interesting.
Yep. So just interesting data point there for those out there who are big data people like myself. And then, make sure you guys take a look at the QMAP players, because there is Robert Hannigan there. I forgot to mention that's a new player who's been added to QMAP. And if we just read real quickly, his number is 113 for those number of people out there. And it says Robert Hannigan, and it says his status is neutral/unknown. And you'll see if you're not familiar with QMAP or the players tab, there'll be different tags associated with whether or not the person is a patriot, or if they're evil, or if they're a traitor/pawn, or if they're neutral/unknown. Those are the tags that the variances there. It says Robert Hannigan was a director of GCHQ, the United Kingdom spy agency, from 2014 until his resignation on January 23rd, 2017. Robert cited family reasons for his resignation, but Q stated he will soon be a household name, suggesting that Robert was part of the international Spygate operation against the Trump campaign. Until more details come out, he will be tagged as neutral unknown. So
maybe one of the graphics people who's really good with photos can start looking for him in particular in those photos that Q posted in the post that you showed a little earlier.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Really good point. All right. So let's jump to, we got a couple more here. It says, this goes along with, we already read that one. Okay, so 1427 is just 520, or May 20th, 2018. It's a picture of the U.S. flag, the red, white, and blue. It says, for God and country, PNG. And then 1426, it has the We Are Q, and it says, where we go one, we go all. So, definitely some good posts there. So probably some good military operations happening beyond the scenes. We have the thing with Iraq we have Iran, the thing going on with Iran right now. And while we're on the topic of Iran, let's take a look at the QMAP with the Iranian gentleman. I believe he's the president of Iran, Hassan Rouhani. And as a reminder, he's listed on QMAP players as a traitor/pawn. It says Hassan Rouhani is an Iranian political serving as the current and 7th president of Iran since August 3rd, 2013. He was also a lawyer, academic, former diplomat, and Islamic cleric. Iran's parliament recently voted to reject Hassan Rouhani's explanations for economic hardship post Trump's withdrawal from the Iran deal and the restoration of economic sanctions. Signs Hassan's power is waning. So, good little update there. And it's funny, he's listed next to John Kerry there. So, no coincidence there, right? Oh boy, man, this is going to be such a great spy movie, you know. And I used to be really into that House of Cards show, and I know, don't hold that against me, but you know, before I was like super into politics like I am now, I was really into House of Cards, man. That show was just amazing, and you know, then all this stuff came out, and I was like, oh dang it! But I still enjoyed watching it because it was a good, you know, political drama. And then who would have thought that I'm getting the real cards with Q drops all these years, or a year and a half? I mean, unbelievable times, guys.
For sure.
All right, cool. So just a couple more here. So we got 1429. It says the truth has been in front of you the entire time. And it links to this POTUS status. It says how amazing the state health director who verified copies of Obama's birth certificate died in plane crash today. All others lived. So I don't know if you guys remember that, but what happened was, and this is coming out of Daily Mail. I linked some sauce to it. But the lady that passed away and everyone else lived is when the plane went down in Hawaii. It says the only victim, Hawaii Health Director Loretta Fuddy, was the only death among 9 aboard the Cessna Grand Caravan that crashed in the ocean near Molokai, Hawaii last month. And she was the one that certified Obama's, as POTUS said, his birth certificate. So very interesting things there. And I actually have a video, and I got to upload it, because I don't know if it'll get taken down, but CBS or NBC or one of the 3 agencies had it on their website, and they might have taken it down, but you could actually see in the water a scuba diver, like, it was as if like she was pulled under by the scuba diver. Like, I'm not joking.
Scuba divers.
Huh?
According to what a couple of the people who were on the aircraft said, there were 2 scuba divers present before the emergency personnel arrived.
No way.
Yeah.
Not heard that before.
Had you heard that?
No, I hadn't heard that. I knew about the plane crash, but I didn't hear those details.
Yeah, man.
That came out early on when that aircraft went down, and then we've heard nothing more about it.
Right.
It's kind of like that Las Vegas shooting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't even get me started there, man. All right, so next, I highly encourage you guys to watch this 4-minute video clip. Gives some news updates from Devin Nunes on claims Barr lied to Congress, and he pretty much like shuts that down. It's a good video clip from over the weekend. We love Devin Nunes. He's a patriot. He's been part of the plan since the very beginning, you know, since releasing his memo in March of 2017, I believe it was. So have a look at that. And then lastly here, we got former CIA officer sentenced to 20 years for disclosing state secrets to Chinese for $25,000. So
that's it.
Man, that's a pretty small price there. I mean, I thought I misread that at first when I read it on today's show. I was like, was it 250,000 or was it 25,000? And yeah, it was only 25,000. So yeah. Wow. I'll just read the first line here. An ex-CIA officer was sentenced Friday to 20 years in prison for revealing military secrets to China and potentially seeking to expose human assets who were once his responsibility. Kevin Mallory 62 was found guilty back in June on charges of spying for China. U.S. District Judge T.S. Ellis III handed down the sentence, which is less than the life sentence as sought by prosecutors, but double what the defense requested. So the former intelligence officer was convicted under the Espionage Act, good, for providing classified information to Chinese handlers in exchange for $25,000. So another justice served, and another win.
You know what doesn't make sense about that? 20 years in prison, and he got $25,000. That's what, pardon my math if I'm wrong, $1,250 a year or something like that. That's chump change. That'll only keep him in. That won't even keep him in candy bars in prison for 20 years.
If he makes it 20 years, because 62 put him in 82.
Maybe he was hoping to do it more than once and get more than just the $25,000, and the Patriots took him down.
Yep.
That's chump change.
All right, so I think that's all I got for you guys tonight. So there was a feel-good story that I'm sure you guys have already heard about it, Paying It Forward, where the billionaire guy offers to pay the entire student loans off for the class of 2019 at did you guys hear about that?
No.
Oh, okay. So this is pretty cool story here. We'll end on a positive note because we have so much negative news, but we got this billionaire Robert F. Smith surprises Morehouse graduates by announcing this morning his family will eliminate the student debt of the entire class of 2019 with the grant Pay It Forward. So let's listen to this couple seconds here.
Sure. Alumni, this is my class, 2019. And my family is making a grant to eliminate their student loans.
That guy's giving. So yeah, I mean, definitely.
That's amazing. I mean, the student debt around the world is one of the biggest transfer of wealth that the globalists have partaken in over the years. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's almost close to, I want to say, I think it exceeds, well, no, it doesn't exceed credit card debt. I don't know. I have to dig on that. Anyone in YouTube chat know? Or any of you guys?
Yeah, I think it's pretty up there.
I mean, it's got to be close.
It could exceed the credit card because, it's amazing.
Let's see what YouTube chat says.
All for kids to be distracted for many years. Yeah.
Would you put your grandchildren in debt just so that you could take advanced basket weaving from some man-bunned socialist?
No, I would tell them to start a business and pay your way through. That's what I did. I started a business and I paid my way through business school by running a company. And I could actually implement what I learned real time in my company while going to school. So, and I graduated top of the business class. So, I mean, yeah, just put it into action, learn real time.
Okay. I did the same thing, so we have something in common there.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, back over to you, man. It's been a good spending some time with you guys, man. I always enjoy it.
Thanks for coming out and popping in for a few.
Yeah. Any questions before I leave? YouTube chat.
Hey, you brought some great stuff, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, that was some fine material.
Yeah, thank you, Captain Liberty. I don't think I've talked to you before, so it's great to finally talk to you. I always hear you on Freedom Rings while I was at work listening to you.
Well, thank you so much. I love coming on with Coach Clay and 70 because they are such wonderful hosts, and I really enjoy their company.
Second that.
No, guys, we I70 and I, we very much enjoy having you guys on our show and enjoying you guys coming on. So it's all about all the other Patriots out there, if you ask me. And the roundtable discussion, I think, is a nice way to get other people's opinions. That's one of the ways that I form my own, and especially with having the live chat out there, and you can just throw ideas out there and have thousands of people come back with you with what they think as well, right? It's pretty neat. It's pretty unique.
Yep.
There's so many smart people out there, man, and we're on a countdown now for 2020 re-election of President Donald J. Trump, as we know, and so anything we can do to connect with others and spread the message and spread the word and continue sharing truth, and platforms like these are a blessing. So yeah, it's just I'm humbled to be part of the journey and humbled to be part of it with you guys.
So did you guys get a chance to look at that information that Representative Collins dropped this evening or today?
I did not.
No? How about you, Captain Liberty? Looks like
I did not. I did not either. I was out feeding the mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah. Did you know only the female mosquitoes are the ones who feed on blood?
Are you trying to tell us that it's only the females that are bloodsuckers?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Well, I did have something coming out of Daily Mail. It says, Robert De Niro, looks like Robert De Niro cuts a $6.4 million check to the IRS after a lien was put on his Tribeca condominium to ensure he paid his taxes.
He's got a handful of problems coming around his lane there, I think, here.
Oh, wait, this is 2015. I'm sorry. Fake news. Sorry about that, guys.
Well, they still leaned on him pretty hard.
Well, isn't he recently didn't get released that he's caught up in that prostitution ring as well?
Oh, Nexium?
No, something different. Although obviously it could have connections in there. But no, it's a different ring.
The Epstein Island ring?
No, I think it was different than that. Some type of prostitution ring in Hollywood, I think, is what it was going on about. But live chat will correct me if I'm wrong. I know they know what I'm talking about there.
Well, Deb, we haven't heard much out of Miss Chandler lately, have we?
No.
No, I'd say she's protected by the Patriots right now in terms of being able to give up all her information and be safe from the deep state. Sure would want to take her out knowing what she knows.
Yep. Well, we're about ready to hand it off to Chris here. Can I get last and closing words from Deb 65 and then Captain Liberty, please?
Okay, well, couple of things. With Coach Clay, you're talking about the military versus criminal trials. I can't remember who said it over the weekend, but I think there were like over 153 corrupt judges that POTUS had to replace. So before we could even have fair trials, we had to have those judges, your federal, your appellate court, district court judges had to be replaced. And the other thing was, I thought it was interesting, Captain Liberty, when you talked about that company Evergreen. Well, Evergreen is HRC's
right. Code name. Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if there's a connection. Anyway, thank you thank you, gentlemen, for letting me hang out with you as always, and I appreciate you. Just appreciate you.
Alrighty, take care, Deb.
See you, Deb. Take care. Good to hear from you.
Alrighty, Captain Liberty. Last but not least, buddy.
As always, gentlemen, you've been more than gracious, and I very much appreciate you. First of all, I70, I love your backdrop, man. It's real. It's not chroma key, and it's fantastic.
Thank you, sir. I made it myself.
And you did. Good eye, man. And Coach, when you opened the show earlier, you were complaining that your wife said that you didn't have a 4-head, that you had a 5-head.
Yeah, one of my sisters actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't worry about that so much because I have a friend who's, let's just say, more than just somewhat overweight. He's always complaining that he has more chins than a Chinese phone book. So until you get to that point, you shouldn't really worry about it, man.
Oh, that is funny.
All righty.
You guys have a fantastic evening, and thank you again. I always enjoy you.
All right, Captain Liberty. It's always great to have you on the show.
All right. Let's see.
I'm going to let you guys do your show close here. Hey, much love. God bless. Coach Clay, happy belated birthday, man. Hope it was a blast. And I70, yeah, much love, man.
Alrighty, take care, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Later, guys. See you, YouTube chat. Much love, guys. Let's make it a great week. Let's keep winning.
No doubt.
Yes.
Thanks very much, SD Cali Conservative. All right. This is what I think whenever I'm feeling down. This picture makes me happy.
Check it out. Let's see what it is.
Oh, that happened too. That was great.
Who is that?
Trudeau.
Who is he boxing?
So I'm not sure. Just some guy in the boxing whatever that club is or whatever I think it was. I'm not sure, but it happened. That's a great time.